Hello dear traders, you are watching ИнстаФорекс TV with me, Tahmina Salomova. Today's link up will tell you about the current developments on the foreign exchange market. Besides, we will provide our outlook for further movements of the major trading instruments. Technical analyst Petar Yakimovic is going to help us with that. Hello Petar, as always let us start with a review of the most traded currency pair. This week the euro was trading much lower against its American counterpart. What are the possible next moves in the euro versus American dollar pair?
Hello there traders. I'm expecting lower price on the euro versus US dollar. I found a very strong downward momentum according to the daily time frame, and the price basically respected the middle of the Bollinger Bands. And created some pin bars there. So I see that actually the sellers are interesting into the lower price on the euro dollar, and the first support is at the price of 1.0495, but I don't see that that support is actually significant. It is a swing low from according to the daily time frame, but I see euro even lower, and I see euro near 1.0350, which is actually the downward target. So my advice is actually to watch for selling opportunities on the pullbacks, watch for some, for example, retracement, and try to establish selling positions and ride to potential, let's say, target 1.0350.
We see that the pound versus dollar pair behaves in the same way. Petar, what direction will the cable follow?
I'm expecting lower price on the GBP versus US dollar. Similar like on the EURUSD, but the GBPUSD actually is trading very strong below the lower band of the Bollinger Bands, and I found that the price actually broke the supports in the previous swing lows according to the daily time frame, and I see actually the British pound will potentially try to test that gap zone, and that is the level of 1.2130. So watch for this level, like for first downward target, and for example, everywhere you can scale your position. Anyway, the price can even go to visit 1.2 level, which is a basically low from, I think, the January 13. And according to also weekly time frame, we see that there is also space for a lower price. According to daily time frame, the price is going very strong downward, and below the lower band for the Bollinger Band. So very strong downward momentum, and my advice is absolutely watch for selling opportunities. For example, watch for some retracement, Fibonacci retracement 50% or 38.2. You can also go to the lower frames and then try to find some patterns, and then try to watch for patterns for the downside.
Judging by the forecasts, the US dollar is set to continue trading with bullish bias against its counterparts. Is it so?
I see a bullish USD Japanese yen. According to the daily time frame, I found a spring. Basically, spring is something like shake out. Sellers got shake out, and we got a pin bar and a very strong closing from that point. From that spring candle, price went higher and very strongly with very strong closings near the top. I see that your Japanese yen actually going to visit. I'm expecting actually to visit 114.95. Then the next target is 115.35. This is the area where I found basically the evening star formation, which is acting like a resistance. And if the price breaks, for example, 115.35 or 115.40, US Japanese yen can go even to 118.50. Which is basically the weekly resistance. It's actually the key weekly resistance, 118.50. Keep that price, on the table, because it's a weekly resistance. According to the Bollinger Bands in the weekly time frame, we see that actually the price where it is right now, your Japanese yen, is actually in the middle of the upward Bollinger Bands in the weekly time frame. So very strong upward momentum with Japanese yen. Daily time frame confirms that we may see something like reaccumulation, and the weekly time frame confirms that there is a still good space for your Japanese yen to go higher. So watch for buying opportunities basically on this.
Just recently, the Australian dollar has stood against the greenback. What further moves in this pair do you expect?
On the Australian dollar, US dollar, I see the price is going lower. My advice is actually to watch for selling opportunities on Australian dollar versus US dollar. Price actually broke upward trend line. There is a big cluster resistance where the price rejected. And I placed a Fibonacci retracement to find 50% Fibonacci retracement, and that is the price 0.7450. So pay attention on this level. According to Fibonacci retracement, this is actually a very solid level, also to scale position and to take some profit for a sell side. And if the price breaks 0.7450, I see that price may go to visit even the low according to the daily time frame. And that is the price 0.770. That is the low according to the daily time frame. So again, strong cluster, big rejection. On the daily time frame, there is actually very strong downward candle, very strong black candle closing well below the lower Bollinger, the lower band, the Bollinger band. So watch for selling opportunities. Watch, for example, for if you're intraday trader, watch for some patterns, some initial patterns like bearish flags, some symmetrical triangles, pennants. So watch for horizontal basis on the lower frames and try to ride actually and try to focus on the downward opportunities, on the selling opportunities. If you watch according to the daily time frame, you are actually short-term trader, then you can position immediately basically, and then expect that 50% retracement or 61.8, and then even potentially retesting of that low at 0.770.
Peter, thank you for your trading advice. See you next Friday. You watched Linkup with me, Takhmina Salomova, and ИнстаФорекс expert Peter Vikimовich. We wish you successful traders. Goodbye.